Good morning, sports fans. Today is Sunday, March 29th, 2026. You're watching RateGame Live with yours truly, Nick Mark George. This is a one-of-a-kind sports show. It's the only sports show on planet Earth that is framed, shaped, decided by the people, the fans, the ones who rate the games. So here's how it works. You rate the games, I talk about them. And how we kick things off, how we start the show itself is truly unique. We take a look at the last 24 hours and we answer a very simple question. And that question is this: were the sports good? Were the sports good? What we're trying to do here is a simple yes or no. So happy to say that we have a new little format. And the cool thing about this show, folks, is that, we're trying stuff. We're only 13 or 14 episodes, if you want to call it that, in 14, maybe 15. I think 13 was on Friday, so today would be 15. We have do we have somebody in a comment? Good morning, Koozie. Yes, Koozie, legend. What's up, Koozie? So we have 15 episodes under our belt. All right. And this is a recurring segment. This is how we kick things off. So what I want to know from maybe you, Koozie, if you're watching, is this too much? Is this dashboard too much? Is the information presented here too overwhelming to consume? Because if it is, then we can go back to just the little ticker and the scroll. Yeah. So let's go through it. Right. So what we're looking at here in this new dashboard is just a really quick overview of what happened in the last 24 hours. We have a 7.2 out of 10. That's a thumbs up. That's a green. That's a good day in sports. We had 38 games played, 4 active leagues, 678 ratings during the day, right? So for the last 24 hours, 678 ratings across those 38 games. Overall on the platform, 1,300 ratings, so 1,315. So that's like people being archivists going back in time, rating games that were outside of the last 24 hours. And then right below it, we just have a breakdown of all the leagues that were active. My producer's shaking, right? So we before the show, we had a little pre-show meeting and we said, I was very much about this because sports stats, I love this stuff. My producer, not so much. So we need your help. We need your help. You tell me. Too much? Cool? Not cool? Go back to just talking about it, not really showing it. You tell me and we will do it. And my producer maybe will feel vindicated. So answer the question. Yes, sports were good. 7.2. That's that's actually better than good. That's borderline teetering on great. The second thing we do after the sports good is we check in on our goal, road to 1 million. Another shake of the head by my producer off camera. She also doesn't like this layout. She does not like the way that it's presented. She'd rather that I talk about it instead of visually show it. So also brand new, but could be scrapped if the people don't like it. 200,002 ratings all time. I mentioned 1,300 in the last 24 hours. We have 36,000 ratings this month, all-time record. And so on Saturday's show yesterday, we talked about the fact that we just crossed over 200,000 ratings. The next milestone, we're going to do this in bands of 100,000 ratings. So the next milestone that we're marching towards is now 300,000. And long term, the bigger goal is 1 million ratings. So we are 2% of the way to 100,000, and we are 20% of the way to 1 million. And we're going to wrap that up there. So let me know. Too much, not enough, overwhelming. Stats are cool. Stats are boring. We'll see. We'll pivot. If so, we take your feedback very seriously here at RateGame HQ. All right. So we do have an action-packed show. We do have a lot to talk about. So let's get right into it. The Final Four is halfway set. And we have 2 programs that are coming back for the first time since the early 2000s. I'm talking about the Fighting Illini and the Arizona Wildcats, making their respective appearances in the Final Four for the first time since 2001. That's for Arizona. And 2005, that's the Fighting Illini. I actually and I wrote this in my take, remember quite fondly that 2005 Fighting Illini team with D. Brown, Luther Head, and Deron Williams, who went on to become, I would say, not an NBA superstar, but an incredible player in the NBA, leading the Brooklyn Nets and the Utah Jazz. Had a long career. So the game itself, thank you. The game itself was the first of two. It kicked us off last night. And both games followed a similar script in that the first half was quite entertaining. Iowa actually jumped out to a pretty big lead. Coming into halftime, Illinois was sluggish. Coming out of halftime, totally different ball game, totally different team, totally different motivation. Delay. What's up, Edge Letty? Yeah, I can't forget D. Brown. D. Brown was a legend with those shorts. He totally shook me there. So what was I getting into? Oh yeah. So the first half, all Iowa. Second half, all Illinois. The guy who I think is the difference maker on this team is that freshman who I actually had never heard of up until last night, but I think he got like he got the most voted. Yeah. He got the most voted, I think. This kid, yeah, Keaton Wagler. Apparently he is a freshman and he balled the F out last night. Him and Peja Stojakovic's son. So I was saying to Molly, like, these guys are all from the Balkans and they can shoot, they can pass, they play selfless basketball. It's just kind of the curriculum over there. I'm talking about guys like Joker, guys like Luka. They just have an incredible bag of tricks. And the Fighting Illini basically just snuffed out Iowa. Really wasn't close from the 7-minute mark on in the second half. And I was surprised that this got a 7-5 because I just don't like games that at the end you're just kind of like hanging on and you're just kind of like watching to watch. There's really no, like, something absolutely miraculous has to happen, which, as we know, is just, really rare. Oh no, yeah, it's Letty. If you're still watching, I actually put D. Brown right in my take here. So I did not forget about him. We had General Dumb, first time in his life that they're going to the Final Four. It's the first time in most people's lives. It's crazy. On the broadcast, they said the Fighting Illini are going back to the Final Four for the first time in 25 years. And I was like, oh, no, sorry, for the first time in 20 years. And I was like, what are they talking about? And then I was like, oh my God, I'm 35 years old. I was 15 the last time these guys were in the Final Four. And the big takeaway here was the horn going off at like set 5 minutes in. I think the first media timeout, the horn broke. And it caused a 12-minute delay in the game. So this guy was there, Henry Yates, and gave it a 1.5. So I appreciate him for giving us that stadium review. 119 fans, 7.5. That was the better of the two. Arizona played in our nightcap. And yeah, similar to game one, very competitive first half. Purdue actually looked incredible. I thought Braden Smith was about to have a legacy game. I was saying, and I think Flame was in the chat with me too. Yeah, we were saying in order for them to be competitive, Braden Smith would have to basically duplicate his first half. And in the second half, he like tweaked his ankle with 2 minutes in. And then, yeah, Arizona just basically also flipped the switch. I got to wonder what goes down in those halftime speeches for these coaches to basically get these guys to just like wake up, snap out of it. I wonder if it's like, could be the last 20 minutes of your professional career, because most of these guys aren't getting drafted. And so I think, and most of these guys don't even have like a look at the NBA. Like they won't even get invited to camps and they won't even get invited to workouts. So I imagine if you're a coach and you're looking for some motivation or some inspiration, you can be pretty tactical with your words and inspiring. And also, fear is a great motivator. So that's, I think, what happened with Arizona. They basically remembered that they were Arizona. Koa Pete, Burries, that freaking Greek guy. He's that mythical creature, Krivas, I think his name is. I love it when Harlan says his name. And yeah, Koa Pete, man, he's just like him and Taris Reed, I think, are the two beefiest boys left in the dance. I think between the two of them, they're probably like 400 pounds. And I would love to see those two go at it. I think everybody wants to see that, honestly. And not to say that my guy Oscar Clough is the most center name of all time. I was thinking about that too. I kind of want to do a Final Four of basketball names, like who of the Final Four teams has the best basketball name on each team. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow when we know the Final Four teams. But Oscar Clough, RIP, because you would have been my choice for Purdue if they made it. The rating here, 7-1, I think is also super generous. I think I gave it like a 6. Yeah, 6-6 for me. Disappointing. And I think, yeah, look at the second half. They outscored them by 22 points. Wow. This was a beatdown. And Burries hit that 3. Very disrespectful with half court. I mean, it was like he had to shoot it or take the violation. Well, you could always take the violation. You could always just have a turnover. But yeah, that shot was that was pretty disrespectful. The half court shot from Burries was just for funsies. That was a nice take. That was a Purdue magnet ball first half. The huge run from Arizona in the second half was so inevitable. T. Clem, just short and sweet. Has great takes. Kopi was awesome. Purdue just couldn't hang for the last 5-ish minutes, but that first 35 was fun. I'd say a little bit longer than 5 minutes. I think kind of got out of hand at the 12-minute mark, and there was just no coming back. So congratulations to Arizona. Congratulations to Illinois. Very exciting that their droughts are respectively over. We will see them in the Final Four next week, which is crazy to think about. We have an entire week off from the madness until we see the Final Four, which will be determined today. We have an all-time coaching matchup today with Dan Hurley versus Shire. And that he's a psycho. Oh, yeah. My producer asked, what do I like about Dan Hurley? I like that he is just so insufferable. I think he's just a funny guy, and he is a winner. So it's like you have to bear him because he's always on your television because they always win games in March. And I love that he's just constantly jawing at the referees on the sideline. Sometimes it's like too much. It's like, you almost need to get that guy. You need somebody to just rein in Dan Hurley on the sidelines because the guy is just a maniac, but it works. And I like Ball. I like Caravan. I love Taris Reed. That guy is an absolute creature. Taris Reed, to me, I look at him and I'm like, he looks like he ate RJ Barrett. He really does. Like, he's got the same facial features. It's like if RJ Barrett put on 50 pounds and grew 3 inches and got worse at free throws, but got a post game. So that's going to be an incredible matchup. And then the other matchup you have, how am I blanking on this? Why don't I just look at my little thing here? Michigan, Tennessee. So Dusty May and the boys. Yeah, I think anything less than a Final Four for Michigan would be a massive failure. So you can see my picks there. I got Michigan and Duke. I'm riding with them, although would not be surprised if Hurley pulls some magic out. That is the last. Oh, wow. And it's an early start today. So 2:15 and 5:05. I think they finally have some respect for us, like letting us go to sleep early enough on a Sunday night. Appreciate that, NCAA. All right. So that will be a little tip of the cap for us and kind of winding down March. And something is happening here that I think didn't happen last year with kind of like the off ramp of college basketball and then the on ramp of baseball. So baseball is very much in a renaissance. Like there is just a renewed energy around the sport that I have not seen in probably, I want to say like five to 10 years. It's been a minute since I have enjoyed and looked forward to baseball this early on in the season and was current on events and players and things that are happening in stories and plots. I think it a little bit had to do with the World Baseball Classic being such a smashing success. I think you also have this dynamic of the international players and like the Otanis of the world and all these guys coming over from Japan, making immediate impacts. Guys on the Cubs like Shota. There's this new guy. I don't want to butcher his name, but he's already like smacking homers. He's got two. It's like his name is like Matsumoto something. And then you have Yamamoto on the Dodgers, another incredible pitcher. So you couple that with the fact that there's also a lot of like MLB fans on RateGame rating these games. And then you sprinkle in the day that we had yesterday where 6 games went to extras. And I think there was a 7th that was a walk-off grand slam by Dom Smith for the Atlanta Braves. So one of the crazier days that you'll see in baseball on the first Saturday that we have. And I say that, if this keeps up, we're in for an absolute treat. So just looking at the board for these games. Yeah, I just want to tee it up here. So I'm going to have to go here. Here. There we go. Okay. Nice. Perfect. Can you see that? Oh, nice. Yes, you can. All right. So from the top, you had Ernie Clement with a walk-off for the Blue Jays. That's the second walk-off in as many games for them. Back-to-back walk-offs to start their season. You had the Reds walking off the Red Sox after blowing the save. Emilio Pagan blew the save. Sal Stewart had a homer in this one. Who's the player of the game here? Dan Myers. Okay, the center fielder. Stop it with the extra innings. I can't. It's a random Saturday. My heart is going to explode. New York Depression. Shout out New York Depression, who got his significant other on RateGame, and her username is New York Happiness. So you need that yin and yang to, I guess, come on RateGame and rate games with your significant other, because I guess he was going through it. He's a Mets fan, so I totally get it. Zach, the resident Philadelphian, and got it. Yeah, the red team had to win this one. So that's an 8-4. Okay, in this game, history was made. This guy Chase DeLauder, who your boy picked up from a free agent randomly on a Thursday morning of last week. Just saw him there sitting on the wire and said, come to Papa. So he's on my fantasy team. And he went on and proceeded to make history. So he becomes only the second ever baseball player who's a rookie to start his career with 4 home runs in 3 games. The other person to do it, Trevor Story. I remember when Trevor Story came on the scene, I think he ended up hitting like something like 6 or 8 home runs in like his first 10 games or something. Trevor Story came in and was just a force. And then he kind of fizzled with the Red Sox now. I think he won Rookie of the Year that year. So Chase DeLauder, much to be happy about if you are a Guardians fan. Because the guy took the 4th home run that he hit last night in the 10th inning was an oppo shot, and it looked like he wasn't even like really wanting to swing at it. He just looked like he like made partial contact and the thing flew out. Crazy power with him. I think his whole story is he needs to stay healthy. So fingers crossed for Chase. My guy Lou Bob on the Mets, walk-off 3-run jack in the 11th. This game had no business going to extras. This game was scoreless until the 9th, and then they proceeded to put up 6 runs in the 10th and 11th inning. Exclamation point for Lou Bob, the brand new New York Met. Welcome home. It's an LBB, a Lou Bob bomb. First of many, we hope. Welcome to Queens, Lou Bob. LBB for your boy. Someone get the defibrillator. Man, New York Depression was really going through it. He was really dealing with his heart problems yesterday. And let's see. Player of the game obviously goes to Lou Bob. Forget who was on the mound, but I guess it looked like it was a pitcher's duel until we got to extras. Cards and Rays. I think this was another one that went to extras. Yup. Another one that went to extras. Another one that, no way. Did the Rays score? Okay, so the Rays scored 4 in the 9th to send this to extras. And then they ended up losing it. Wow. Oh, this is this rookie. Okay, so this guy, JJ Weatherholt, I think. I don't want to butcher that. But he is, so the one of the plot lines here, one of like the early storylines in the Major League Baseball season is that these rookies are getting a chance to play right away instead of this like super manipulative tactic that ownership and management usually deploys, where they have to monitor time served for rookies so that they basically can like bring them up midway through the year and it still doesn't count as their rookie season. It's a weird thing. Not the case this year. So we're seeing them play right away and they're making impacts right away. Chase DeLauder, rookie. This guy, rookie. There's a lot of other rookies that I'm, not bringing up, but very cool. Very good for the game. Good for baseball. Good for baseball. Texas Rangers also goes to extras. They win it in Citizens Bank. Love to see that. And then we had the walk-off granny for Dom Smith, the former Met. Bottom 9, a 6-run 9th. So they were down 2-0 on death's doorstep, putting up 6 runs, including a walk-off grand slam. I thought I had it up, but maybe not. Okay. All right. So incredible Saturday yesterday. I think the MLB alone had a 7-3 across all these games. There was like 15 games. So certainly a treat. Love to see all these ratings for it being so early in the season. It's a long season, folks. So strap in. We have a lot of games ahead of us, a lot of games to rate. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is so far in the MLB season, we've seen this new aspect of the game, this new element of the game, and that is the introduction of the ABS system full-time for the first time. There's no more experiments. It's not down in the minor leagues. They brought it up. And what I've seen so far has just created incredible theater for the umpires, for the fans, for the players. So I think it deserves some shine here. So what's going on? Basically, for every game and for every team, you get 2 challenges. You get 2 uses of the ABS system. And what has to happen is the player, catcher, or pitcher has the ability to challenge. And the way they challenge, they just go like this very quickly. It has to be instantaneous. You cannot, nobody's opinion but your own. So if you're going to challenge, it has to be like right there in the moment. It can't even be like a look or a glance to, if it's a catcher to a pitcher or a batter to a manager, it's got to be like right in the heat of the moment. You got to like think that you got it right and that the umpire got it wrong. And then to the videotape you go. And so what this makes for is catchers and batters. I haven't seen it yet from a pitcher, basically exposing umpires who get the calls wrong when they get the challenge right. And it just makes for incredible theater because you have, the umpires, they have to stop the game and they have to basically signal that they're getting called out. So I'll show you a great example of this. Yesterday in the Red Sox-Reds game, This is the home plate umpire. His name is CB Buckner. And, Eugenio Suarez is up to bat. He's got full count. So the ump is about to say he just struck out here. Okay. Looking at a pitch. Not so fast, says Eugenio.
Point. Here comes the 1-2. And in there, struck him out.
Challenge. You see how that right on the hat?
Challenge this.
Batter's challenging the pitch.
Look down. Let's see.
It's not crowd pop.
Ball, but barely.
Barely.
Pitches the ball. Cincinnati retains his challenge.
Not missing by much.
No.
One of the things talk about the ABS challenge. You might have to figure out these umpires pretty good. 0.3 of an inch.
So 2-2. ABS powered by T-Mobile.
Very next pitch.
Again. And that's in there, and he's
Nope.
going to challenge that one as well.
Like,
Another challenge at home plate.
Batter's challenging the pitch.
I think that one got the core.
Let us see. That's a ball. ABS powered by T-Mobile.
That one's even worse than the other.
An inch off. Well, we saw a challenge last night from Roman Anthony go his way that kind of really opened the game up. Watson trying to fit.
All right, so he goes. So the home plate umpire basically embarrassed there because 2 calls in a row he got wrong, not by much, but you get the point. It just makes for great theater. And you also have, where was it? You had Salvador Perez, I think 2 nights ago, getting 3 right in a row, 3 strikes right in a row. So I think ABS is absolutely here to stay. I'm very happy that the Major League Baseball has embraced this technology. It seems like by and large, MLB is like finally got it. They finally understand that the next generation of baseball fans are wanting to like the sport, and they're not asking for much. It's just like make the game a little bit shorter by introducing the pitch clock, make the game a little bit less objective and a little bit more, or subjective and a little bit more like black and white with the ABS pitch counter, and make the game like more accessible and more fun, and like stream it, meet the next generation of baseball fans where they are in the world. And I think the MLB by and large, like I'll say despite Robert Manfred, because the guy is like a piece of driftwood, I think they're doing a great job. And we'll see if they can avoid a lockout, because that would just be absolutely crippling. But I have to think at this point, they understand what's at stake here. They can see the momentum that they have, and they would not risk a lockout when everything is peaking right now. I don't think they would do that to themselves. That would be an act of self-sabotage, the likes of which we have not seen in a professional sporting league. All right, so looking to Pick'em Leaderboard, checking in on Old Faithful, and we have none other than Jimmer, still holding it down. Actually created some distance somehow. Not somehow. He went with Arizona. Fed went with Purdue. So the lead is now 2 heading into the final Sunday before the Final Four. So we have 5 total games left in March Madness. I can't believe that. 5 total games. And Jimmer's got a 2-point lead. So he's a ball knower. Now he's a ball knower. If you looked at his round of 32, he went 30 for 32. Yeah, 30 for 32. And then he followed that up with a 13 out of 16 in the Sweet 16. That's hard to compete with. 80, he's picking him at 82%. 82% of the time, he's got the right pick. So, I mean, yeah, right? Jimmer, phone in. We got to phone in Jimmer. He's, he's got a pass. He's got a clear path to badge land. And we'll reveal the badge maybe this week. Maybe it's ready. So there's no harm in revealing it. But yeah, maybe he'll have to swap out the creator badge for the March Madness badge. But we'll see. It's up to him. It's his call. All right, folks, that is our show for today. We got 13 people. Is that real? Wow. 13 people on the stream. Thank you so much for watching. Did we get any other comments besides Antoletti? No. All right. Well, my name is Nick Mark George. It is Sunday. There are 74 days left until the World Cup. Same time. No. Tomorrow is Monday. So we'll be here at 8:30. 8:30, coming to you live every morning during the week, 10 a.m. on the weekends. It's a great day to rate some games. And see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow.